get to the bag, ayy. Got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the lane moving fast, ayy. Let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss, ayy.
Hey guys, before we jump into the episode, I wanted to let you know it is brought to you by Denim. As a business owner myself, I personally know the importance of financial stability and preserving cash flow to help navigate through any freight market. With Denim's comprehensive service offering, you now have an all-in-one financial partner whose platform includes factoring, payments, freight audit, document collection management, and analytics, which help keep your business financially healthy and increase your team's time to focus on revenue-producing activities. You can also take advantage of Denim's free credit check, which they perform on all of your customers. And Denim will proactively reach out to you if they spot any signs of credit deterioration. Finally, Denim always pays your carriers first. As a broker, this is imperative to preserving your credit score in the market, which ultimately helps you become a broker of choice to your carrier partners. Are you ready to learn more? Visit denim.com to schedule a demo today. Just do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you.
This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistics, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agents' success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Friday, everybody. I got a very special solo show here this morning. And, just a little bit of background on what we're going to be talking about today. I've mentioned this throughout the weeks and in shows occasionally, but like, I get DMs frequently from individuals out there who are trying to build their business up, or, they're asking, how do I find shippers? They're asking, how do I prospect? Do I pay for this? Do I pay for that? And most of these individuals who are reaching out are either building their own company up. They're thinking about starting in this industry fresh, or, maybe they're out there and they're thinking about going out on their own. They're currently, working for somebody, and they're working inside of a system that has been, profitable for a long time. And, I'm coming to really lay the groundwork for individuals to build up something from scratch, and the realities of building up that book of business from scratch. Because I think one of the things out there that really, and this is one of the main driving forces behind this show is to put a collective of information out there by people who are actually doing the job and the work inside of this industry day in and day out. Nobody who comes on this show is doesn't have verifiable experience in the industry. Like, my team and I vet everybody, especially if I don't know who they are. At this point, I have a really good idea on who the majority of people are that come onto the show. But in the event that I haven't met them, we vet them. We make sure that their experience is verifiable, it's real. And we tell all of our guests, if you're going to come on this show, it is not a sales pitch, right? Like, it is not a sales pitch for your product or anything like that. We want to put real conversations out there. And I refuse to do any preset questions for any of my guests, because at the end of the day, you guys, there's so much fake on the internet. And hell, some people might watch my shit and think I'm full of shit, and that's fine. But I've actually worked in the industry for a very long time. I have verifiable experience inside of this industry for the past 15 years. And a lot of where we're at now in today's day and age, there's a lot of people trying to sell gimmicks out there. And if there's anything I say that I hate with the passion, is a fucking thief. And that is what those individuals are to me, who go out there and try and sell these glorified lead lists of guaranteed freight and these shipper lists and everything else out there, because they don't exist at the end of the day. There is lead generation software. There's a bunch of stuff out there that you can pay for, but only if you can afford it. And it is not necessary. I've recently, when I went out on my own here to start my brokerage here with my business partner, we're 2.5, this is our third year in. We're 2.5 years in right now. And the majority of the business that we've earned and built has not come from a lead list. All right. It has not come from lead generation software. It's come from free tools out there. And this is where I want everybody to really start, because, if you have the money to pay for this stuff, again, I'm not associated with Zoom Info or any of these companies. If you got the money to pay for it, is it worth it? Yes, it is worth it. But we're talking thousands of dollars a month. And if you're out there on your own, you probably don't have thousands of dollars a month to invest in that right away, with where a majority of these individuals who are reaching out to me are coming from. So we're going to talk about like how to actually go about a lot of this. And I've done some research on this. I've talked to some of my friends who've built their businesses, and this is the kind of a collective of what a lot of us would do, going back and starting from scratch. So I think if you're coming in here, and then this is especially important for the rise in the love of becoming a freight agent and walking away from your salary and everything else. And again, I'm not here to tell you to not go after your dreams. I'm just here to tell you about the realities of when you go out there. And, I want to start with one of the biggest misconceptions that I faced when I left working for a behemoth organization, right? Because I worked for one of the largest freight brokers in North America for the first 7 years of my career. And it was vastly different operating inside of a machine with brand recognition, with revenue coming in, opportunities coming in. And then when you walk away from that and you go into a small startup broker, or if you go into a out on your own and trying to do it, you guys, it's a massive shock to your system, because you go from recognized, oh, we know who you are, to who the fuck are you guys and why are you calling me? And so for me, it's like, if you're going to go out there, and this is a principle that we follow, 99% of our freight right now is full truckload flatbed freight. All right. We chose a niche mainly because I have found a lot of success in choosing a niche in the industry. And I would highly recommend any of you who are going out there on your own, choose one thing, because you got to think repeatable and scalable. And if I could go back to day one on this and becoming self-employed 5 years ago, I would have done that. I would do that right away. You got to think of, we got to build a process that is repeatable and scalable. And, one of the comments that I got from one of the people that I was talking to about this before, putting this show together, is they had a misconception of how big the industry actually was. And I think that when you see how big the transportation industry is, $1 trillion or whatever number people want to make up out there, you think there's opportunity everywhere. People are going to be begging me to, do their business. There has to be a need. And I think what you come to realize is, and this is what I've realized as well, there is so much opportunity in one thing that you need to focus on that for a very, very long time, and once you choose that niche, you got to ask yourself this as well. Whether you're building a book of business for a company, or whether you're building your business up and you're starting out from scratch, I would look at it like, step one, what is your vision? Where do you want to go with a lot of this? Because I know some very successful people that they've got a couple of core customers that they've been working with for a long time. They don't want to become any bigger. They don't want to do anything more than what they're currently doing, and that's fine. I have friends who have massive visions, massive goals that started off as a one-person operation and have built up organizations that do 40, 50, 70, hundreds of millions of dollars a year in revenue. And they're still building, they're still growing, but they knew what their vision was. My vision and my long-term goal is to build the largest transportation company in North American history. I want to make the largest companies today look like a startup by the time I'm done. But this goal will be achieved over the longevity of my career here. This is a 40-year goal that I'm working on, and it's starting with this singular focus. So learn a freight mode. All right. What is it that you want to go after? If you have full truckload dry van experience, full truckload refrigerated experience, flatbed, it doesn't matter. Choose a mode and stick there. And then I want you guys to look at this wherever you're located here in the United States of America. I'm located here in Phoenix. I want to own the borders of the state of Arizona. All right. I want to contact every business that fits inside of that niche that I want to go after, and I want to contact them. And a lot of it, you guys, is all done through Google. Okay. So out of respect for some of these companies here that are going to be where you're at, I would just Google pipe Phoenix, Arizona. All right. If you're going to do flatbed, or if you're going to do food manufacturers, Atlanta, Georgia, and start there on Google. Again, we're going on a principle. If you don't have the money to invest in other things, which this is not money I would invest in early on in your business. These are a lot of lead generation tools are great after the fact, after you have revenue coming in. So start with that. All right. You've done your research. You're like, I'm going to do food manufacturing. I'm located in Atlanta, Georgia. So start there on Google. And the beauty of a search engine like Google is it lists off similar companies as well. All right. And then from there, what I would invest in is a Microsoft Office subscription, or you can use Google Documents. Google Documents are free. And then you can just build out a lead list like that. And then if I'm going to contact somebody, if I'm local, and I'm going to just literally look at it as we need to introduce ourselves. All right. Because here's a major misconception by a lot of sales reps out there. And, talking to Sean Lydon the other day about this and, systematic selling, a lot of people overlook where they're actually at in the sales process. You're going in and trying to close them on a 30-second pitch, when at the end of the day, you really just need to get on their radar. Because right now, you guys, the majority of shippers, 90% of the shippers that you're going to contact are going to tell you exactly what I was told this morning. I've already made 30 cold calls this morning. Out of those 30, only 5 companies actually answered the phone. And out of those 5 that actually answered the phone, 2 of them have told me that they have been instructed by their logistics department to remove any of that outreach from our list, that they are not going to be making any changes for the foreseeable future. Okay. So that's kind of a realistic day, though, in the life of when you're going out there and prospecting. So for me, it's when you're going to contact them. All right. So if they're local, I would always just start, you're going to call them. If the gatekeeper or the operator answers their phone, always introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Chris Jolly, and I was hoping to speak with somebody who handles your transportation or logistics, please. And from there, they're going to go with one direction or another. They're going to be like, all right. And then they're going to transfer you. 99% of the time, it's going to somebody's voicemail, if they even have a voicemail. And, there's a rarity that people will answer the phone. And I say a rarity because out of the, let's see, quick math here, 200 cold calls that I've made this week, I've talked to one decision maker out there. And at the end of the day, that decision maker had let me know, like, hey, we don't have a lot of flatbed freight. We have it. You can send us your information, but we don't have a lot of it. So again, that was a kind of a breakdown there of what a real cold call is going to look like. So if you have that cold call anxiety, if you have that apprehension to go out there and do it, it's almost a higher likelihood that you're not going to get anybody on the phone than you will out there. And, one thing I want you to be very aware of is there are shippers out there who will add you to a distribution list, who will add you into their network. And the majority of the time, not all the time, the majority of the time, you guys, they add everybody to that list, right? There's 800 brokers who are on that list. And then that's where most people stop. All right. They get in, they get like 2 or 3 of those, and then they're just bidding all day long on freight and they never actually win anything. So for me, step 1, choose a niche. Step 2, what volume of shipper do you want to go after? So at this point in my career, I really want to, like, we have our core customers right now, right? Like, we are very fortunate to have the core customers that we have inside of our book of business. Now, you could start argue early on when you're starting out, you just got to get in the door. You got to get a little bit of consistent revenue coming in. And I fully respect that path. And I would recommend that. You got to go after, again, I want to find shippers that have full truckload in flatbed. So if I'm prospecting somebody and they answer the phone and they're like, yeah, we move everything on our flatbeds, we do full truckloads, boom, that's a prospect that I'm going to want to follow up with. But you can take it a little bit further on that and set some parameters. What type of volume do you want to go after? And again, keep this in mind. The higher the volume of shipper, the lower the likelihood that they are going to probably consider onboarding you anytime soon. This market right now, capacity is very plentiful out there. So set that parameter. Understand, maybe it's 1 truckload a day, right? Like that's the style of shipper that you want to go after. And there's plenty of them out there that have that, right? So it's like 1 truckload a day. They got 25 in a month. We'll just round up from that, 25 in a month. They got about 300 truckloads in a year. So, all right. So I want to go after shippers that have 25 truckloads in a month. And then what's that ceiling, right? Is it 50 truckloads in a month where they're at like 2 a day? Is it 3 a day? What is that ceiling? And then set that niche. All right. So it's like my niche is full truckload flatbed, or my niche is full truckload food grade. And then we're going to go after shippers that have as little as 25 full truckloads in a month and as maximum as 50 full truckloads in a month. So then when you're out there and you're looking at all of these prospects in that area, you have a pathway in of conversation. Because when you're prospecting somebody, you guys, they're always waiting for you to say, we'll do everything. We're the best at everything. Because that's a lot of people's strategy out there. They want to do everything. They want to bid on everything. And I don't. I have found more success here over these last couple of years prospecting by telling people exactly why I'm calling. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is all I'm interested in. And then they bait you too. Some of these people have baited. They're like, oh, we only do LTL. I'm like, I understand. I don't do any LTL at all. I won't touch it. It's just not part of our core competency at this time. Do you guys utilize full truckload? And it changes the entire dynamic of the conversation, because that's all I'm really concerned about. So when we're going on phase 1, you guys choose a niche, load count. What is it that you want to go after? And then go out there and prospect locally inside of that area that you're going to. All right. And then you can, again, utilize a tool like Google. And then another really good point is we like to rely on showing up. We would like to rely on site visits. I think it's going to be the great separator here over the coming years with the push of technology and AI, that you got to show that you're real sometime. Because at the end of the day, I think that once more and more large companies employ AI dialers, all of your prospects are going to employ AI receptionists, right? So then it's going to be bot talking to bot, and there's going to be nothing that is going to be done from that, right? So again, how do you compete? How do you stand out? You got to do what others aren't willing to do, you guys. You got to pick up the phone. And so once we've identified our niche, once we've identified a target load count and everything else, a target region that we're going after, you got to start with how many calls a day are you going to actually make day in and day out. All right. It's easy to say, I'm going to make 100 cold calls every single day. And then you do it once and then you never do it again, or you never actually accomplish it. Because what we need to build out, you guys, is we need to build a system that we can follow that moves that needle forward every single day. So for me, I'm always about the 2 things is to set a clear metric. All right. So whether it's 5 calls a day, 15 calls a day, 30 calls a day, I don't care what your arbitrary number is. Choose a number and stick with that. And then as you're looking to push the limits here. So if you're very uncomfortable on the phone, start with 5. All right. Start with 5 calls in a day. And what I would recommend you do is you preload your calls. You choose if you're going to start with 5, and this is a strategy that I actually do today is I do 5 at a time where I will, because I like having the company's websites up before I call them. So I will drop 5 phone numbers into Google. I have all their websites up, and then I just go down the list, and then I X out the tab as they don't answer, or I leave, or they don't, they answer, they say they're not, whatever that looks like. And I just work my way down. And I think a good barometer for you to follow when you're starting out, again, we are building a system that you can follow every single day. You do that. How long did it take? Did it take you an hour to make those 5 calls? Did it take you 2 hours to make those 5 calls? What did that look like? And then the progress comes and the efficiencies that you build. Maybe it took you 2 hours for the first week. Then the second week, it took you an hour. And then the third week, it took you 30 minutes for you to get those calls in. And then once you hit that, and you'll know, I would say if it took you an hour to start and you get it down to 30 minutes, that's a really good indicator that I should add 5 more dials onto my day. And again, you guys, this is all arbitrary, plug and play all of this information, because what you will find out is you are building a system that you can follow every single day, because eventually, you guys, you're going to get to the point where you're producing some revenue, and then it's going to be more important to have this system to rely on, because that's a very dangerous part to get to is when you're making money, because, and I'll do another show on that at a later date, because this one is why you don't need lead generation software right away, and why you need to build a sales structure for you to build actual revenue. All right. So once you get that, then you add 5 in. I am a massive proponent of small incremental bumps in productivity over time. All right. Because there is no get rich quick. You're not going to make $1 million in 24 hours. Realistically, for some fucking reason, somebody out there is probably going to say, oh, I can. You want to build sustainability, but most importantly, you guys, you want to find customers that you can build with. All right. Because it's going to take a very long time to get in front of them. I have businesses that I've been calling for probably 15 months at this point, and they still haven't answered the phone. So that's the reality of it but like, I've done the research on these companies. I know they're worth calling and going after. And then especially right now, we're very fortunate to have some core customers that we move very consistent freight with now. So now I'm shifting my focus again to where it's like, hey, I want to go after those shippers. If from my standpoint, here's where I'm at. I am going after shippers that move 5 full truckloads a day, 25 a week. So we're doing about 100 truckloads in a month. Those are the style of shippers that I have shifted my perspective into going after and who I'm prospecting now. All right. So when I call somebody, if I get them on the phone, or if, I'm going through my leads, and I'm going through and I'm building up that list, and I'm seeing some businesses that, again, they don't have a lot of flatbed freight. They have plenty of dry van freight. That's not my jam. All right. Or, hey man, we have a little bit of flatbed freight, but we're 90% LTL. That's not my jam. I have my core market that I'm going after, because again, I need repeatable, scalable freight at this point, because over the next 12 months, we're at a spot where it's like, we're on the verge of starting to hire some sales reps, some ops team, everything else. And we're going to be building up around this. So I need to shift that focus. And, again, we have our target market. We know who we're going after. And that's what we're throwing everything at right now. I have developed a system that me and my business partner follow every single day. And it has gone year after year after year. We have grown. This is technically our 3rd year in business. And I will say this publicly now, we did more in the first half of 2025 than we did in all of 2024. Okay. So we have grown by following this system that I have just laid out there for you guys. All right. So if you're just tuning in right now on the live stream, you guys, choose a niche: full truckload, LTL, interject any terminology there that you want to go after. Make sure you are very educated on what you're calling on. And a lot of the education, you guys, is going to come from actually moving the freight out there. But once you have that niche, you have that region that you're going after, build a lead list. All right. Own your state, wherever you're at out there. There's a lot more freight than you think in your backyard. And then if you're comfortable with showing up and dropping off a business card, go do that. You guys get in front of some people if you can. I don't remember the name of the website, but you can buy business cards for like $100. You guys, it's not that expensive. Just create a logo, put them on there, go out there and just introduce yourself in person. And then, from my thing, your main focus is repeatable, scalable revenue. All right. You want to focus in on how do you get in front of people? And then I think that right now it's going to take a lot more work than anybody wants. All right. And then one thing I want you to focus on here is don't take any of it personally. And this is a lot easier said than done because I'm a human being too, you guys. I have emotions. I deal with all of the highs and the lows of this. And at the end of the day, you guys, you need to understand that these individuals out there get bombarded all day long from sales reps, not just in freight, right? You got to think of everything that's ever been inside of an office. People from every walk of life are calling these businesses all day long. So it's not you, all right? The person. It might be your pitch. Your pitch might suck, but it gets better in time, all right? And that's why it's like, to go back to the niche, introducing yourself, break your call into 3 separate parts. What is your introduction? All right. Just get in the habit of practicing. Hi, my name is Chris Jolly. I'm with SPI Logistics, or whatever company in your name is. Interject that there. And then second part of your call, I was hoping to speak with somebody who handles your transportation or logistics, please. All right. That's call number 2. And then our part number 2. And then part number 3, what is your service offering? Why are you calling them? And then because once you get, because they might say, hey, what is the purpose of your call? I will always tell them it is 100% an introductory phone call. We specialize in full truckload transportation. And I was just calling to introduce myself today. That is the 3-part breakdown of what I would say and what I do say, not what I would say, what I do say on every single one of my outreaches, okay? So my introduction, hi, my name is Chris Jolly. I'm with SPI Logistics. I was really hoping to speak with somebody who handles your transportation, please. And then they're going to be like, what is the purpose of your call? The purpose of my call is it's 100% an introductory phone call. We specialize in full truckload transportation, and I am just calling to introduce myself today. Practice that, you guys. Practice that. You need to be able to spit it out because that conversation can come with the phone. It can come if you're waiting to board a flight one day or you're out meeting people. It doesn't matter. People need to know what you do. All right. If there's John Rogers puts a ton of content out there on LinkedIn. That's one thing that he says that I, wholeheartedly agree with him all the time is everybody should know what you do. And you need to be able to start with that first step, you guys. The first step is, who are you? What do you do? And why are you calling? All right. Break that down. So to kind of summarize here, all right, choose a niche, you guys. Choose a niche. If you're going out there to start, even if you worked for a behemoth broker and you got 10 years experience, but you're going out on your own and you thought you were going to have core customers, but those core customers didn't come. So now you got to start from scratch because you made your bed and you got to go. Start with one, you guys. Start with one thing. Full truckload drive-in, full truckload reefer, full truckload open deck, LTL. Start with one. Build up that niche. Build up that region wherever you're located at. All right. Utilize Google. Build your own lead list. If you cannot afford lead generation software, which if you're out on your own, you have better resources to invest in than paying for lead generation software early on out there. So utilize Google. Pipe manufacturer, Topeka, Kansas. Cheese manufacturer, Madison, Wisconsin. Utilize Google, utilize all the similar businesses, and then go out there, you guys, and create a Google document. And this is how we structure it in our business, all right? Name of company, location, phone number, notes, all right? And then we utilize a Google document, and then we move that along, all right? CRMs are great. All of those things are great, but we're coming from the standpoint of if you don't have money to invest in a lot of these things right away, this is how you do it. This is how you start out. And then you start with choose an arbitrary number. I'm going to make 5 cold calls in a day today. And then you do that every single day. And then you monitor how long did it take you to make those 5 cold calls. And then if it took you an hour for the first 2 weeks, and then after the 2 weeks, you got it down to 30 minutes, add 5. And then you go to 10. and then rinse and repeat on that. All right. Because you got to get up to the more people that you're talking to. All right. The more people you talk to, the higher the likelihood that you are going to get in front of somebody. You want to build it up. And I would say if you have no business at all, you want to get it up to where you're comfortably making 50 cold calls a day is a great number to build up to. All right. So that's going to be it, you guys. I hope this was valuable to you all out there. But again, there is no magical shipper list. All right. That does not exist. There is no magical shipper list that somebody can sell you that has all of this information on there that's going to guarantee you business. It does not exist, because if it did, trust me, people would be using it a lot more. You can find all of this information for free. All right. And then if you made it this far in the episode, you guys, rest assured, everybody who I have come on this show is a vetted, verified guest who comes on here to talk about what their side of the transportation industry is. Okay. We're not going to sell you a course. We're not going to sell you anything. We're just here to help out and learn. And hopefully you guys can minimize what the mistakes that I've made in my career out there. But that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. And if you're feeling really ambitious after this one, which I hope you are, because I just laid you out what we've done every single day for the last almost 3 years in business, and we've grown year over year over year following this strategy. Rank the show on iTunes and Spotify, because at the end of the day, if you guys saw value, your network's going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Came back with a bang, window down, yelling out money, and it